Welcome back to Football Daily, where today we've picked a team of players who deserve to be stepping onto the field for their country. Do note that this was written and recorded before the latest international squads were announced, so some of our wishes may have come true. Goalkeeper, ADRIÁN. Now 32, Spanish goalkeeper ADRIÁN is probably too old for an international call-up, especially when David De Gea, Pau Lopez and Kepa stand in his way. But his talents as a stopper haven't gone unnoticed in the Spanish setup. Back in 2016, after helping West Ham get to within 4 points of a Champions League spot in the Premier League, he was called up to the squad by Julian Lopetegui, who had then just been appointed the manager of La Roja. However, with De Gea reaching his infallible peak at the time, the then 29-year-old spent both games on the bench and hasn't had a look in since. Fast forward to 2019 and Kepa is now the main man for the Spanish national team, following some questionable form from Man United's number one. Meanwhile, ADRIÁN hasn't even been considered, which is a shame considering his profile has never been higher after joining Liverpool. And there is actually a case for the new red stopper making the national side ahead of the 24-year-old. While Chelsea have faced the second least shots per game in the Premier League this season on 9, Liverpool are conceding 9.6, and yet ADRIÁN has let in just 6 goals compared to Kepa's 14. Only Norwich, Watford and Southampton have conceded more this season. This is particularly damning when you consider the former Bilbao man has made only 11 saves, while ADRIÁN is making nearly 2 saves per goal conceded. To be fair to Kepa, he has had to face a higher percentage of shots from inside the box, but he is still letting in more goals than XG suggests he should be, while ADRIÁN is outperforming his. And even though there has been a couple of high profile errors, the former Hammer has made up for them with some point blank stops. Based on form alone, Anfield's new darling between the sticks deserves a call up. And we're calling you up to the Football Daily team. All you have to do to join is subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single video. Defender, KWATENG. We're sure many of you will be calling for WAN-BISSAKA here, but we've talked enough about the English right-back over the last few months, and was it not for a recent injury, he'd probably have a 3 lines cap to his name. France's KWATENG, however, is yet to even be considered by Didier Deschamps. The right-back won the Under-19 European Championship with Le Blues in 2016, alongside Kylian Mbappe and Lucas Toussaint, and has been on top form over the past 12 months. The 22-year-old averaged a whopping 6.3 tackles and interceptions per 90 for Nantes last term, which is actually more than WAN-BISSAKA was managing for Crystal Palace. And since moving to Bordeaux, he has arguably improved, winning the ball back 6 times a game for a team averaging higher possession, and is now completing 78% of his tackles, compared with 65% last term. He is also improved on the attacking end, now creating a chance every match. Their only specialist right-backs are Leo Dubois and Djibril Sidibe. And although centre-half Benjamin Pavard has held down the position for nearly 2 years now, if KWATENG can continue to perform in Ligue 1, a call-up is surely round the corner. If not, we could see him eventually turn out for Ghana, the country of his parents. Defender, Abdou Diallo. A Monaco Academy graduate, Abdou Diallo left the Principality the same year as Kylian Mbappe, but had to detour through Germany before joining him at PSG this summer. Following the well-trodden path from Mainz to Borussia Dortmund, Diallo was yet another success story at the Westfalenstadion in 2018-19, earning his big money switch to the Parc des Princes after just 1 season working under Lucien Favre. And the Frenchman has slotted seamlessly into Thomas Tuchel's back line, with Thilo Kehrer preferred as a fullback option and Marquinhos now a full-time defensive mid. The 23-year-old has partnered the evergreen Thiago Silva at centre-back, missing just 1 game through injury. And while the side's form has been far from perfect in the early stages of the season, Diallo has helped them keep a clean sheet in 6 of his 8 league appearances. And the former BVB man could well be the long-time heir to the PSG captain, Like Silva, Diallo is as effective in possession as he is difficult to get past, completing 80 passes a game and over 4 long balls, whilst also being successful with 83% of his tackles, a better rate than Virgil van Dijk this season. But having captained France's under-21s, the left-sided centre-half will find it difficult breaking into Le Blues' senior setup. Didier Deschamps has continually snubbed Aymeric Laporte on account of having too many left-footers in the squad. Defender, Fikayo Tomori. One of the biggest surprises of 2018-19 thus far has been Frank Lampard's ability to quickly get Chelsea's youngsters into his system at Stamford Bridge. While Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham have been talked up for a number of years now, Fikayo Tomori was generally not expected to make such an easy entry into the first team. Aside from a 30-minute cameo for the Blues back in 2016 when he was just 18, the young defender has played exclusively in the Championship on loan at 3 different clubs before this campaign, making 55 appearances under Lampard at Derby in 2018-19. Tomori's form at Pride Park was clearly a big factor in getting selected this season, and he has been super busy since re-entering the Chelsea first team, winning the ball back 6.7 times a match and completing a massive 93% of his attempted tackles. While we imagine these numbers will average out lower come the end of the campaign, they show a top-class centre-back in the making. Born in Canada to Nigerian parents before moving to London as a child, the 21-year-old has the option for playing for 3 national teams, but having represented England over 30 times at youth level and winning the Under-20 World Cup with them in 2017, it looks almost certain he'll turn out for the 3 Lions. However, with Southgate now able to pick between Maguire, Stones, Gomez and Keane, he'll be hoping he plays for England sooner rather than later. Midfielder, Domenico Berardi. Unlike the vast majority on this side, Domenico Berardi has actually played for his national side relatively recently. In 2018, the right winger was finally called up to the Italy squad after years of brilliant performances for Sassuolo and the under-21s. But Roberto Mancini only used him for friendlies and Nation League matches, leaving him out when more pressing Euro qualifiers came about this year. And while Federico Chiesa looks to have secured his long-time berth on the right of the Azzurri attack, Berardi's early season form will have given Mancini food for thought. At the time of recording, he has 5 goals and 2 assists in just 4 appearances, including a 14-minute hat-trick against Sampdoria on the opening day. Furthermore, having just turned 25 this summer, Berardi's Serie A record is excellent. In 6 seasons, he has scored 59 goals and provided 39 assists for a side which has only finished in the top 10 once. That works out to be a goal involvement every 147 minutes, which is a better average than David Silva and Riyad Mahrez have managed in their Premier League careers. With Euro 2020 on the horizon, Berardi is surely a must for Mancini, even if only as a bench option. Midfielder, ADRIÁN Rabiot. While a midfield containing Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante, Corentin Tolisso and Tanguy Ndombele is difficult enough to break into at the best of times, it's fair to assume that ADRIÁN Rabiot would be making the France squad if he hadn't fallen out so badly with the hierarchy. Ever since his controversial refusal to go onto Didier Deschamps' reserve list for the 2018 World Cup, the former PSG midfielder has effectively been exiled from Le Blues' setup, with the president of the French Football Federation saying he is a long way off being recalled. Furthermore, the acrimonious way in which his association with PSG ended in 2019 will not have helped his case. It's a shame for a midfielder who has time and again proved himself over the years as one of the best in Europe. As it stands, we will have to settle for watching the 25-year-old dominate midfields in the Champions League. Midfielder, Suat Serdar. A graduate at Mainz, German midfielder Suat Serdar transferred to Schalke in 2018 for €10.5 million, and having gone through a hellish first campaign at the Veltins Arena, has emerged as one of David Wagner's key men in 2019-20. Schalke finished 14th last season, just 5 points above relegation, and won just 8 games, the club's worst showing in nearly 20 years. While Serdar was far from spectacular, he remained one of the side's better performers, and according to some reports, was even scouted by Barcelona during the campaign, as he won the ball back around 4 times per game, while also providing a goal threat with nearly 2 shots a match. The 22-year-old missed the first 2 games of this term through injury, but since returning has been magnificent, with 3 goals in 4 appearances already bettering his output for the entire of 18-19. And the club unbeaten with him on the pitch. Clearly enjoying playing in Wagner's system, SERDAR's passing has also improved dramatically, now finding his man 87% of the time compared with 71% last season. While Germany's midfield remains stacked, Joachim Löw could do worse than calling on the Schalke man should he sustain this form. Midfielder Luis Alberto. One of Serie A's most dangerous playmakers for the last 3 years, Luis Alberto has consistently created over 3 chances a game since joining Lazio in 2016. The Spaniard's finest campaign came in 17-18, when he got a staggering 11 goals and 14 assists as a second striker, and this form actually earned him a call-up to the national team. However, he featured for just 16 minutes in a friendly against Costa Rica, and failed to make the World Cup squad. Now 27, the attacking midfielder would be forgiven for thinking time is running out, but he has started this new campaign in tremendous form, with a goal and 5 assists in just 7 league appearances at the time of writing. And while his path to the Rojas squad has been blocked in the past by the likes of Andres Iniesta and David Silva, their retirements have made Spain's midfield a slightly easier club to join. However, after his stellar campaign for Sevilla in 18-19 and subsequent move to PSG, Pablo Sarabia has leapfrogged Alberto on the waiting list and into Roberto Moreno's long-term plans, while the manager's preference to continue with a 4-3-3 would make the former Liverpool man an uneasy fit in his side. A shame for one of Europe's most consistent creators. Forward, Dani Olmo. At just 21 years of age, Dani Olmo has already had a rather unusual career. The Catalan forward began his footballing education at La Masia, before choosing to move to Dinamo Zagreb's academy in 2014, and has come to the world's attention this year with some eye-catching displays. Most recently, he starred for Dinamo in an unlikely 4-0 demolition of Atalanta in the Champions League, completing an astonishing 9 dribbles against the Italian side in a furious attacking display. And on the international front, he has more than staked a claim for a call-up to the senior side with his performances at the Under-21 European Championships, where he scored 3 and assisted 1, including the winner in the final, as Spain took home the trophy. On the radar of clubs across Europe, including Bayer Leverkusen, Liverpool, Tottenham and Barca, Dani Olmo is a star in the making, and would certainly be a good wildcard option for Spain come Euro 2020. Forward, Moussa Dembélé. Perhaps the most high-profile name in R11, Moussa Dembélé has marked himself out as one of Europe's hottest young centre-forwards over the past 12 months. Since moving to Lyon from Celtic in 2018, he has hit 21 goals in around 2,600 minutes in Ligue 1, including 6 in 7 appearances so far this campaign, averaging a strike every 125 minutes at the Parc Olympique. And while France are ridiculously well stocked in attack, their central options actually pale in comparison with their wide talent, making Dembélé's continual failure to make the squad even more dumbfounding. Amazingly, while Kylian Mbappe, Anthony Martial and Ousmane Dembélé missed out on the last set of qualifiers through injury, Didier Deschamps still decided not to pick the dynamic Lyon forward. With his striking competitor Olivier Giroud 34 next year, Deschamps will likely face a selection dilemma as the Euros approaches. Opt for the experience and dressing room authority of the Chelsea veteran, or the relentless goal-scoring threat of a young striker entering his prime. Either way, it's surely only a matter of time until Dembélé lights up the Stade de France. Forward, Tammy Abraham. The second Chelsea graduate in R11, Tammy Abraham has started the 2019-20 campaign in a way not even his biggest fans could have imagined. At the time of writing, he is joint to Sergio Aguero in the Premier League goal-scoring stakes with 8, is averaging a strike every 72 minutes, and is backing up this form with impressive in-game numbers. The 22-year-old is currently taking 4 shots a game, up from what he was managing in the Championship last season, with a massive 88% of his efforts coming from inside the box. Clearly the young striker is coming of age in the Prem, and the stage looks set for him to rejoin Gareth Southgate's 3 Lions. While he was capped for 2 friendlies back in 2017, Abraham has had to slug it out for the under-21s in the 2 years since, scoring 7 in 24 games under Boothroyd. While Marcus Rashford and Callum Wilson currently offer legitimate backups to Harry Kane in the senior side, if Abraham carries on his fine goal-scoring form, bringing him back into the fold is a no-brainer. So that was our XI of players who deserve to play for their country, but have we missed anyone out? Please let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, click on screen right now for more, and as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.